Bore da blwyddyn pump a chwech. My name is Mrs. Lawrence, and this is the lesson from the RE department. I hope you enjoy. You might think that RE and fashion don't have much to do with each other, and really I suppose they don't. But clothes and types of clothes and colours of clothes are really important to lots of different religions, some of which you'll learn about when you come to St. John Lloyd. But today we're going to look at one different type. We're going to look at the clothes that priests wear when they're saying Mass. You may not have thought about it before, but when priests say Mass, they have to wear particular clothes. Some of those clothes are on the screen in front of you now. The picture on the far right is probably what you imagine when you think of a priest saying Mass. But if you start at the far left, we can see the clothes that he's wearing underneath. This is a plain white alb, and it's a piece of material that's worn over his regular clothes and under everything else that you can see. He's also got around his waist a cincture. This is really just a fancy word for a belt. In the middle, you can see a stole. You can also see it poking out at the bottom of the right-hand picture. Now, a stole looks just like a scarf, and even though when a priest is saying Mass you often can't see it, it's actually one of the most important things they wear. They have to wear a stole, even if they're not wearing an alb or a chasuble. The chasuble is the thing you can see in the last picture. In this picture, the priest is wearing a purple chasuble with a gold cross on it. These are the clothes that a priest wears when he's saying Mass. And in St. John Lloyd, when we have Mass in school, you'll become familiar with these. The first thing we're going to learn about is colour. The priest in the last slide wasn't wearing purple because purple's his favourite colour. All of the colours that are used in the church have a particular meaning, and they're used at particular times of year. Click on the video below to listen to Father Sam explain what the different colours are and when they're used. So, now we know that different colours are used at different times of the year. But the chasubles are often decorated with different symbols, which gives us clues either to Christian belief or to the time of year. For example, on this slide, there are two purple chasubles. Now, as Father Sam said, purple can be used in Lent and in Advent. Because of the symbols that are used on the front of these chasubles, I know which one is for Lent and which one is for Advent. The clue is because on the right-hand side, we've got a purple chasuble with the Advent wreath and the Advent candles on. Whereas on the left-hand side, there's a gold cross with lilies, which is a common symbol during Lent. You can see from the pictures below that sometimes whole sets might have the same image on. The set in the middle has all the different colours needed, but they're all decorated in the same way. They're all decorated with an image of a dove and tongues of fire. This is a very powerful symbol of the Holy Spirit in Christianity. The one to the left of that has an image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and at the bottom it's decorated with roses. On the far left, you can see a green chasuble that has lots of symbols on. It has a crown for Christ the King. It has a cross to remind us how Jesus died for us. It has pictures of fish, which remind us that Jesus called fishermen to be his disciples, and he told them to be fishers of men. It also has a symbol of a chalice and host, a reminder of our belief in Holy Communion. And at the very bottom, it has vine leaves and wheat and corn to remind us of the bread and wine that we use in Mass. So, different symbols can tell us different things about Christian belief. And on the next slide, we'll have a look at some more of these symbols. On this slide, you can see lots of different Christian symbols. You're probably familiar with some of them. For example, the cross over on the left-hand side. I think we all know that one. But there's others maybe that you've not seen before. So, the one that looks like a P and an X, can you find that one? It's not really a P and an X at all. It's a Chi-Rho. They're two Greek letters and they stand for the word Christ. If you look on the slide, you'll also see something that looks a bit like an A and an O. They're also Greek letters. They're Alpha and Omega. They're the first and last letter of the Greek alphabet. And so in Christianity, we sometimes use the Alpha and Omega to be a symbol for God, the beginning and the end. One of the symbols at the bottom is a set of cross keys. That can remind us of the kingdom of heaven, but it can also remind us of St. Peter, because Jesus said to Peter that he would give him the keys to heaven. You're probably all familiar with the idea of a dove being used as a symbol for peace, but did you know it was also a symbol of the Holy Spirit? Here's a challenge for you. Can you use all the information you've learnt about colour and about symbols to decorate the front and back of a priest's chasuble? Now, you'd have to think about what time of year you were designing a chasuble for. So, for example, if it was for Easter, then you'd need to think, well, it's got to be white and gold on it. And also the symbols would have to be appropriate to Easter. So you wouldn't, for example, put an Advent wreath on it. Are you thinking maybe about a Saint's Day? Then it would have to be red, and the symbols might relate to the saint whose day you're celebrating, for example, St. Peter. Or are you going to do one for ordinary time, with a green background and lots of different Christian symbols to represent the whole faith? It's up to you, but I can't wait to see what you come up with.